You know, I used to read Charles Dickens and Oliver Twist and think to myself, well, this is America. We made it. It's different here. We are beyond all of the horror. No. No, we're not. So I'll be very surprised if you have not heard this story yet regarding the 19-year-old Justin Carter, a young man who had an argument over Facebook, and they were arguing over the game League of Legends, a very popular game. Someone had said something to the effect, "Oh, you're insane, you're crazy, you're messed up in the head," in which he responded, "Oh yeah, I'm really messed up in the head. I'm going to shoot up a school full of kids and eat their beating hearts," with the next two lines being LOL and joking, JK. Well, it just so happens that some cunt thought it would be a great idea to report his joking, sarcastic remark to the FBI, in which then the police showed up and arrested Justin Carter, and he's been in jail for over 5 months as of right now, with a $500,000 bail limit, along with being placed in solitary confinement, which is a form of torture. He's been recently placed on suicide watch, and I would think anybody in solitary confinement would probably be on suicide watch. He's been stripped naked and supposedly assaulted by people within the jail. So why was this young kid, Justin Carter, arrested? Well, supposedly he made a terroristic threat. You know what doesn't really make a lot of sense to me? All of these people on Facebook and Twitter calling for the killing and rioting if Zimmerman, the Zimmerman trial that's been going on lately, if he walks. People have been making death threats, oh, I'm gonna kill, I'm gonna riot, I'm gonna do this, and yet these people who are making death threats if Zimmerman walks aren't being detained, aren't being arrested, aren't being jailed. Why is that? Huh? Don't we have just the most wonderful justice system in the land of freedom known as America? You wanna know why I stopped my policing career? Is because of shit like this, and I'd have to be a police officer in law enforcement knowing that things like this happen, where a kid gets falsely arrested for making a sarcastic joke over Facebook and charged with a terrorist threat, which by their own logic, if that is true, then why haven't you arrested half the Call of Duty community over video games, huh? Because I remember when I used to play Call of Duty, I would get those people who would say, "Hey, you motherfucking faggot, I'm gonna come over and rape all your family members and blow up your house and blow up a school and rape you. Hoo 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 hoo." You know, those common things that happen in Call of Duty. Why isn't that being brought up? When I was studying law in my policing career, there's such a thing as probable cause. There doesn't seem to be any right here. Unless Justin Carter has a stash of weapons and explosives in his apartment, a map of the school, or a kill hit list that he plans on killing people in the school and then grabbing their own beating hearts. I mean, really, police officers, you really think that he's gonna grab beating hearts of children and eat them? The courts who put this young man in jail need to be able to differentiate between fake threats, because if they can't, then they're doing their job really, really poor. If you start arresting people for saying stupid stuff, who are we going to hire to guard those prisons and jails, huh? This is a crime of our politically correct world that we live in to America. This is a perfect example of government lunacy. Common sense and government bureaucracy are directly incompatible. The more government power, the less common sense there is. And are you perfectly okay with throwing your tax dollars towards this? Because that's where it's going right now. Towards jailing Justin Carter, someone who's completely innocent, who have had no evidence to prove that anything that he had was going to go through with intentions. There's no evidence to back up anything. There has been no trial yet. Are you okay with knowing that your tax dollars are going towards this type of justice? This isn't justice, folks. This is injustice. This is the world in which we live in America, where our freedom of speech is being taken away, and that if you think or you say something which is offensive, or someone may take offense, that you're jailed for it. What's it gonna be next? Thought crimes? So here's a little short story for you. A few months ago, a man by the name of Brian, I can't use his last name, but this man Brian thought it would be great, because he has an obsession with me, to make a web page with my address and pictures of my 3-year-old nephew. Yes, my 3-year-old nephew, who's a minor, 3 years old, he posted pictures of my nephew, along with my address, along with threats to my house saying, break into their house, I'm gonna break into their house, rape my nephew. Yes, rape threats, with my address, with photos of my 3-year-old nephew, on a website, telling people to break in, that he wants to burn our house down, and that he's going to rape my young 3-year-old nephew. Now, me being the person I was, I took this seriously, as this was a real threat, especially with photos and my address and photos of my house. It was pretty creepy and pretty scary stuff, if you think about it. I was in fear for my nephew's safety. So what did I do? I actually opened a case file with the Seattle FBI agency that we have in downtown Seattle, and I filed a report on this man, in which the police showed up at his house, they talked to him and said, you know, you need to stop doing this type of shit, and that's all they did. That's all they did. And yet Justin Carter, who makes a jokingly sarcastic remark, who puts LOL in joking, he gets arrested and imprisoned for saying something like this. And yet the man who put pictures of a minor on a website, in which I had to hire a lawyer to get and contact the website owner and ask them to remove the said objectionable and illegal content of photos of a minor with rape threats of my address. And what did law enforcement do? Oh, we'll just talk to him. We're not going to do anything. But now the FBI actually has a case file on this guy, thankfully. But they didn't do anything. They didn't take that serious. But this is a completely different matter. Let's jail someone who's innocent and then torture him and then strip him naked and put him on a suicidal watch, because that's how much psychologically solitary confinement can affect someone to the point of killing themselves. This is torture, ladies and gentlemen. We in America have now become a nation that supports and condones torture. Or at least our judiciary legal system has. Constitution means absolutely nothing anymore, because we are allowing this to happen. It has had no trial, no innocent until proven guilty, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Here's something that you probably haven't heard.
This is Captain Cap.
Yes, I needed to speak to someone about Justin Carter.
Okay.
Yes, I was wondering, I read that he is on suicide watch, and I'm wondering, is he in that little cell across from the control room, the one with, like, no lights and a hole in the floor and, you know, all that sort of horrible stuff?
Okay, what do you have, or what, okay, why do you need to know this, or who are you?
Well, because I'm concerned about this inmate. I mean, I'm intimately familiar with your jail, and I think I know what you people are putting him through.
Okay.
If he's in that little room for months on end, yeah, we got a psychological problem that your jail is causing, and I think the public needs to know about.
Okay, well, right off the top of my head, I don't know what room or where he's housed right at this minute.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure you're aware of the room I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, the violent cell?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I just need to make sure, you know, he's not in that. I mean, I need to know, like, what his conditions are in. I don't need, like, specific housing information, but,
Okay,
you
as
know,
far
if
as
he's, like, in K Block or something, that's not really good either.
okay, as far as where he's housed, that information would not be available to you.
Well, how do we ensure, because again, I've seen, like, the worst your jail has to offer, you know, seriously. And so, again, I know firsthand what your jail is capable of putting inmates through. So I need to make sure that that's not happening with this guy.
Okay. Well, again, as far as the where he's being housed and his you know, you're saying he's on suicide watch, whatever provisions we need to make for him, you know, we can deal with.
Well, I mean, that's nice that you tell the public that, but what you tell the public and what goes on the inside of your jail is two totally different things. And again, that's something that I know firsthand.
Okay, but specifically what you know about him, I don't know how you could have firsthand, unless you're in jail, but I don't think you are because you're calling me on the phone.
Right. Well, I'm not in your jail right now, but again,
Okay.
I have been in your jail. I have been in that so-called
Okay.
violent room. I've been in K Block. I've been in G Block.
Okay.
You know, I need to know what kind of treatment this inmate is receiving.
The only thing is that particular information is is not open or not public information as far as that
Well,
would
why
be
isn't
medical.
it public information? What are you hiding?
Because what you're saying is medical, and medical is not. Number one, there's medical personnel that have, that can, there's doctors that have that information made available. But as far as the general public, to you yourself, as to what's being done, where he's being housed, that information is not public information to you.
Well,
and what we're doing, if he's on suicide watch, or what specifically we're doing, is not privileged information for the public to have.
Well, I mean, if you're doing things that cause psychological harm to an inmate, it is public information, jail policy or not.
You can watch the rest of that 10-minute video linked down below in the description of where this guy is talking to the police officer who are currently holding him in solitary confinement in that torture chamber. You can listen to the whole conversation. It's down below linked. There's a petition also linked down below, and I want you to sign it. I signed it. You should sign it. This is a petition for change.org on trying to free Justin Carter from this injustice of our crappy, shitty judicial system in which we imprison people simply because they said a joke, and even said it was a joke. And, there's no evidence to prove any of his intentions. There's no evidence for anything, which goes to show you how corrupted our legal system is in America. Oh, and in case you didn't know, that terrorist guy who just recently was involved with the bombings, the Boston bombings? Yeah, guess what I read today? He is not guilty! Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that terrorist, a man who actually took innocent lives and killed people, is being completely let free. He's proven not guilty. If this is not evidence that America is fucked, America is done for, I will stand by this statement and say that I hate the legal system in America. In fact, I almost want to say that I hate America altogether because of what we allow to happen in our country, and we do nothing to combat it because government is taking a role over everything. Government is raising in power, and we, the people, can't do anything about it. Anyways, there's a link down below the petition. Sign it to get Justin Carter free. There's also a donation link in the petition that it's linked there that you can donate because the family is trying to raise $500,000 to bail him out of jail, in which this poor young 19-year-old male is being tortured by our fucking messed up justice system. And it's not a justice system, ladies and gentlemen. It is torture. It is injustice. And we're sitting here, us gamers, us people, and we're letting this type of injustice occur, and our tax dollars support this type of shit. Also linked down below is another video by Howard Bloom on this issue of Justin Carter, freedom of speech, and our Constitution. I'd recommend you watch it. It's a fantastic video by Howard Bloom. He's going to be kickstarting a YouTube channel relatively soon, and I want to give this guy more exposure. Link is down below. You can watch it. He correlates Justin Carter, freedom of speech, the Constitution, also with what's happening in Egypt right now. Thank you guys for watching, and peace the rep out, and please sign that petition and donate some money, just like I've done, to get this innocent man freed for doing nothing and treated as a terrorist when there's no evidence of terrorism.